up, Todd?
What's up, Eric?
It's good to have you here, buddy.
Man, it's good to be here.
I got this little jury, or else I would have came to you.
Yes, look at that.
But we made it, bud.
Yes. It's been an interesting road.
It's been a long one. It hasn't been a hard one, but it's been a long one.
I'm nervous for some reason.
You and me both, buddy.
Yeah, okay. Well, you play it off very well. You don't seem nervous.
This is me being super nervous.
I'm always nervous, though. Friggin' weirdo. So, let's go back to when we first met, way back.
The good old days.
Yes, and I probably can't remember half of it because my brain is pretty fried from those days.
I'll tell you exactly what it was.
Really?
The rehearsal space on the way to Middleburg, Orange Park area. Mikey took me to it.
The Muse.
Sure.
Yeah, it was called The Muse. It was a recording studio.
Yes. And I went in there, and I remember Jay, shout out Jay, I talked to him earlier today.
Jay.
We'll circle back to him because he gave me some great advice. And he had a reverse headstock washburn, and I'd never seen anybody play one of those, this type of music you guys were playing. So immediately being a gear nerd, I'm like, what is it about to happen? I remember hearing you guys play and just being like, this is really cool. Like, this is not just unique, but this is like ahead of what's happening right now. And you guys were in between singers.
Right. Okay.
And I remember seeing you guys, and you were jacked.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might have been on some...
Could have been.
Yeah,
I was working out a lot.
Yeah, you were jacked. You
Natural.
You had cool hair. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was good, man. But I remember being in there, and that's where I met you guys the first time.
So did you come in to the band after the Washburn endorsement thing or whatever?
I was part of the Washburn endorsement thing. Yeah.
That's what I thought.
So whenever I had come in, it was during our rehearsal space. I know that I always go back to the rehearsal spaces, but that's how I'm like geographically aligned. Whatever spot was in the place by Wacko's,
Yes.
which is a gentleman's club.
It was
it serves lunch. I've never been in there. That's the God's honest truth.
Oh man, I keep thinking Crazy Dave's. It's not Crazy Dave's. It's the what? Do what? It's the storage. Dang it! What? See that's where my brain doesn't work. Anyway,
we were there. We had
right behind there,
an inexplicably large rehearsal space.
Yes,
and I was like, these guys are.
We had the bonus room. I think we shared it with Stiletto. Stevie Stiletto.
Yeah, and then at some point, Burn Season.
Yeah,
which is also a cool, great band. Whatever happened to them? Shout out to those guys. Wherever you're at these days, you guys were a great band.
They're still around somewhere.
So, yeah, we were in there, and Mikey took me because God knows I didn't have a car, couldn't afford one, and so Mikey took me in there, man, and we played. I had a sweet rig for no reason. I don't know why I had such a sweet rig, but I had an original Block Letter 5150 and some stupid guitar. I don't want to say what it was, but it was sweet.
Yeah,
just know that. Shout out to Paul Reed Smith. I can't endorse other guitar companies.
Yes.
But yeah, no, man, and it came together nice. It was a whole vibe. You guys were very professional. I remember seeing OBC playing at a level that was very interesting to me as a punk rock kid, as a guy that was getting into hardcore, and seeing that you guys were really playing in the big leagues. And back in those days, man, that was really harder than it seemed. It was really about who you knew. And so it spoke to the characteristics of the band members whenever you would see guys getting on shows with Slayer and Chimera.
Yes, that was amazing.
No, that was the inception, man. And then when I became a part of it, the very next thing that happened is we were auditioning vocalists, and we had a couple of some sandbaggers that came in there. We had a couple of guys that were good, but then David Rowe showed back up. And man, oh man,
yes,
there's nothing you can do.
Yeah,
when he shows up, what do you want? If you're not him, what are you supposed to do?
That's Ordered by Chaos, right there.
It is, dude.
Yeah, we were. That was a strange time. That whole time was very weird. I mean, we made some interesting music, you know, and it wasn't bad, but just wasn't OBC.
I mean, you guys were dang sure doing your thing, and you had a guy that was cool. He was a facsimile version,
right,
of David Rowe.
Yeah, right.
Shout out to whoever that guy was. I'm sure you're doing good right now. You did a great job, but come on, man. If you're not David Rowe, you ain't an OBC, man. And so I remember when he came in, man, the whole vibe shifted. He showed up like 8 deep. You know what I mean? So as soon as he came in the room, I was just like, oh, this is the band I'm joining. Yeah. Now that this guy's here, I get that. And obviously the energy that Squiggy brought to the situation, the elements that Mikey brought to the situation, Marshall being such an advanced bass player, you being such a tasty drummer, and Jay, man, just being so groovy.
Yeah.
I remember one time, man, I was sitting with Jay. I had been in the band for a minute, and we were sitting in my little crummy apartment out by the dog track on Wells. And I was just shredding. And Jay was just like, cool. But check this out. Pick a fret and make a song just using that one fret and open notes. And I'm like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And he's just like, okay, give me a fret. And I was just like, okay, this one. I was like, your first fret. And he just, in front of me, composed an entire song using open notes in his first fret. And it was sick. I'm like, I get it now, dude. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a less is more kind of theory, some sort of colloquialism to adhere to when it comes to that type of jargon, but just somebody that's just like, it's about the energy. It's about how you communicate with your audience, like all that flashy stuff. God forbid this song become a single. You're going to have to do that flashy stuff every single night for the next 30 years. It's like, so just chill, play something cool. And I'm like, exactly. Wow, what a life lesson. and then after that, you know what I mean? The very next band that I was in that took off was Bury Your Dead, which, if anyone's heard that music, hey man, we was about 1-2 frets a song. So I really took what Jay had taught me to heart, man. Honestly, man, shout out to Jay.
Jay Rooney. Yeah, you're the man. Miss you.
He's coming back. He'll be back.
We got to get him back for a OBC podcast.
What?
That would be great.
What?
We could do it right here.
100%. I don't know if they can squeeze all in here.
We could do it. Yeah. we squeezed in that van and went across the East Coast.
Racine, Wisconsin.
Oh, my
And what's funny was, so the first tour that we had ever done, circling back to the Washburn Randall days. So I was 16, I can say that now. And I signed the contracts because no one asked how old I was. And Squiggy just slid to me. He was like, son, don't say nothing. I'm like, I signed it, shot it. I remember having some interview in Rose.
That made me like you even more, man. I was like, are you kidding me?
Hey, man.
You're that old? He's a kid. You couldn't even get into the bars legally.
I was in there.
Yes.
I remember doing an interview in Rose.
You didn't look 16, though.
Well, yeah, man. That was a hard 16.
Big dreadlock.
Yeah, dude. That was a hard 16.
Yeah.
Yeah. Family woes back in those days.
I remember that dinner that you're talking about.
Yes, with Outer Loop Management. Whatever happened to them?
Like a mafia dinner or something.
Hey, whoa, we can't use that word, buddy.
Well, you know what I mean. It was like it was like an Italian restaurant. I remember
it was like a dinner.
Man, it was
with friends.
It was great. Exactly.
Who are also there to do a thing that's kind of sketchy.
Yeah.
It
was good.
So we can't use the.
I can cut that out, or nothing.
Or
whatever.
Don't edit it.
Yeah.
Either way. But man, we were with Outer Loop and they were good to us. And so the first tour that we had ever done, before we even left for that tour, we went to Racine, Wisconsin, and we did production with the guitarist from Soil.
Right.
And again, man,
Sean Glass, right? See, that's what I'm telling you.
Boom. I remember that he took the amp that I was using and just dimed out the preamp, and it sounded so sick.
Yeah, that was.
And if you look over there right now, there's a 6502 with the preamp completely timed. I've never not done that since we recorded that. And then we went to Washburn and Randall, man, and same thing. I'm just like, there's no contracts. I left out of there with 2 full stacks, 2 212s, 5 guitars.
That was weird.
It's bizarre.
I wish they made drums. Not even drumsticks.
And I had those Idol series, man. It was to a point where I was just giving guitars away to my friends at home.
It was so crazy.
It was cool, man. Yeah, that was just a cool experience.
Have fun.
Like, not even to sound like I was getting an endorsement, but like, no, that was like genuinely cool. Like, I didn't deserve that, dude. I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
Yeah, that was crazy.
And then we left and we toured with our very, very first tour that we ever did was with Blindside, which is so sick. One of my favorite bands to this day. And Papa Roach in support of their second album when they had released it.
Yep.
And I had went back to school because I was still in high school. And I went back to school and I remember going to our rehearsal.
Damn, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, nobody knew that. And then I went back to rehearsal and
so mysterious.
Yeah, dude, and we were talking like, man, we could have so many more shows if you weren't in school. And I'm like, man, fuck school, dude. And I just left.
Yes.
Like, my dad was none around. My brother just went to the military. Rest in peace, that guy. And then my mom kind of wasn't around, so I was just like, I don't think anyone would care if I just didn't come back here. And so that was that, man. And then we were Full Battle Rattle and doing our thing. And then the very next production we did, we worked with the front of house engineer of Korn.
Yep.
And we were looking at the Elementary imprint for what they got going on. And what's funny, man, is years later, 2000, can I say years? Is that going to be like indicate how old we are? 2006, we did Family Values. And I went up to him and was like, hey, man, we recorded a demo with you back in the day. You have a studio in St. Augustine.
Scott Tatter.
Boom.
Damn, yes, I'm on a roll.
Yo, I'm glad one of us remembers. Hey, so I was
had
just
some
like,
ginkgo biloba before I came out here.
I'm talking about, dude. Some folic acid, dude. I'm talking about
alpha brain.
But I shook his hand, bro. It was just like, we recorded a demo with you in St. Augustine, man. And he was so like aligned with it. Like, he immediately was just like, what was your band? It was this. And like, we just dialogued on it. And then fast forward even further, I'm in St. Augustine County Jail in like December 2010, and his son is there. And his son was, all due respect to Scott Tatter, man, you're the man, but your son is a lot, dude. Your son's doing all the wrong stuff. And what's funny is he was like a rapper, which is great. But your dad is Scott Tatter. Yeah. What are you doing rapping, dude?
I remember that dude said, every day is like Saturday. That was his quote for his life. I was like, damn.
He did an incredible job, like touring with him live. Not to mention that not only did he do an incredible job for Korn, which obviously like their live show is incredible. And at the time they had so much stage production. They had like 2 percussionists, an auxiliary guitarist, because at the time Head wasn't with them.
Right.
But they had a lot of stuff going on stage, and he did an excellent job, not just for them, but like for the actual production management for everyone else that was coming on. Like when our front of house guys were coming on, he took super good care of everybody. Great guy. Scott Tatter's the man.
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree.
Small world, dude.
I remember he had like 3 mics on the kick drum. Like there was one inside. It was crazy. I was like, okay, cool.
I could tell you the setup, dude. He ran a PMC on the interior. He ran the sub mic on the exterior, and he would point, like, I can't tell you what model, but he would point it at the beater side so it would catch the click attack.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I'm stealing that.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm 100% stealing that.
Yeah, that was badass.
Yes, dude. Scott Tatter's the man. Yeah, he was really cool, man. And by the time that I had gotten to that tour, really, honestly, a lot of the lessons that I had gotten from OBC stuck with me, because now here I am touring with the in some cases the bands, but the caliber of bands that we were playing with when I was 16, super out of my league.
Right.
And so I was always that guy, man. Like when I would tour with bands that I would like, I would just completely fanboy over them and go up to them and just be like, I've been listening to you since this long. This is my favorite album. Are you going to play this song?
I did that once.
With who?
And I got heartbroken.
Band? Oh, no. What band?
Bill Stevenson, the drummer for Descendants, Black Flag. He's still my favorite. But I met him when we played at, I think we opened for All at 618.
Sick show. Who was on that?
It was Ordered by Chaos, All, and who I don't know. Who cares? I mean, honestly, seriously, yeah. I was like, I'm playing with my favorite drummer.
Of course.
And man, you know how you like go through your head, you're like, okay, I'm gonna say, you know, you've done so much, you've inspired me so much.
Every time, dude, the script.
And I think I just went up to him and I was like, hey Bill, or something. I don't know. He was like stretching on the stairs and he totally like was, hey, what's up? But he like totally gaffed me off, and I was like, oh, I'm such an idiot.
But you know what's funny though is I've probably done that to people, and I'm sorry. That's probably why I went to prison for so long. Karma. But I think the funniest stories are when that happens, because the stories of like going up to Steph from the Deftones and just being like, bro, I got your signature series guitars, and then him being like, you should get my tech to set them up for you. And then I did, and I got the guy who sets up Steph guitars to set up my Steph signatures. Like, that's cool.
Yeah.
But the memory that sticks out is me going to the Sick of It All guitarist at Freebirds and just being like, oh my God, and he says, shaven, because he's shaven. And I'm like, that's way funnier.
Yeah.
Getting cold cocked by like your favorite band member is hilarious, dude.
You're good.
Will, stop talking over our interview, sir.
Will's fanboying over there for something. Okay. His arm's asleep. Are you all right, man?
Yeah, we're in the zone right now. Zoning. All right. Anyway.
So, what do you want to talk more about Bury Your Dead, or you want to?
Sure, man.
Go for the story.
Let's start with.
Well, let me say something first. So, when Order by Chaos, kind of like when I left the band, and I think we kind of all just, I don't know who stayed.
Okay, so
I know I left.
Jay was like the first like big element to be removed. Jay left, and then we all right. So Jay left, and then all of a sudden we were putting out these like drop A really nasty songs. They were cool. But as cool as they were, because now I've been in a band where the element of a key writer leaves and you're left with what remains. And I feel like there's always a degree of overcompensation that takes place. Well, not always, but there's a degree of overcompensation that takes place when one of your key writers leave the band and then you're left with the remaining guys. And that very next album always sounds like they have something to kind of prove.
Right.
And so when Jay left, here I am, I'm the only guitarist left. And I'm like, we're putting out this thing that's going to be crazy. And it sounded cool, but it's just like, it sounds cool in the way of something that's missing. You know what I mean?
It's missing that flavor.
It's missing that flavor, man, regardless of what that flavor is.
Yeah.
Like, for better or worse, when you have a guy who's just a key component of your group exit out of the band and there's no way to stay that chorus, like you're gonna fumble the ball.
Changes the dynamics. Totally.
Like, don't act like you didn't fumble. You look foolish if you're trying to complete the motion, you know what I'm saying? Like just okay, we fumbled, stop and let's reevaluate what we're gonna do. And so in our case, when Jay left, man, we were writing some cool material, but it just wasn't the same and everything kind of fizzled out. And so I left. And the very next band I joined was Reflux with Tosin Abasi and Ash Avildsen. And they had played a show. They came to stay at the house. I won't give you the whole backstory because there's literally NDAs in place that prevent me from doing that. I played with them, and that was a cool experience. Obviously, shout out Tosin because what a hero he has become. Ash Avildsen owns and operates Sumerian Records. And right now, if you're a hardcore metal band, man, let's be serious. All roads lead to Sumerian. There's a lot of great labels out there that are putting out a lot of great music. That guy's just had his shit together since the early 2000s, man. Everything that guy touches is incredible. Ever since EE booking and everything that he's ever done, that guy's just a genius. Whoever works with him is lucky to do so. And so at the time, here we are playing this super hyper thrashy music that's kind of ahead of its time. And that was in an era where it was like uncool to be good at guitar. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like if you're doing solos and songs, you're like, what the fuck is this? What's happening? Right? And they always did this in front of you. And like, as cool as it was to like write and execute that type of music, because that to me, I'm always going to have like a special place for what it takes to do that. But doing it back then, it's like, man, I'm wearing a 7-string on my chest, wearing this weird tuning, and I'm just trying to nail every note perfectly. And like, so when you get done with your show, you're just like, oh, Jesus, I made it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And your reward for that is like getting off stage and having some guy be like, I couldn't help but notice that in your demos you recorded it this way, but live you play it that way. Is that just because you suck at guitar? Because I'm just like, this fucking dude, right?
Man, that was like pre-internet, you know?
Yeah, dude. And coming from OBC, where I'm literally playing like a Jay Rooney riff on one fret, right, and having people like, that was the best song ever. I'm like, I'm not even sure I played that correctly,
right?
If we're being honest. And so from going from that to like this hyper technical situation to where it's like microanalyzed, I was like, listen, the very next thing I'm doing is going to be something where I can just kind of cut loose and have fun, because this is a lot. This is very demanding. And
my bad.
So that led me to the Bury Your Dead experience. And so in the meantime, when I exited out of Reflux, I did a fill-in tour for On Broken Wings from Boston. I don't know if you guys haven't heard them, definitely go check them out. They've put out new material that's excellent. Johnny Cupcakes, shout out Johnny Cupcakes, was in the band at the time doing samples. And so I'm just like, I just was in a band that had a sampler.
Right.
This band has a sampler. So I thought that was really cool. And so I literally did the tour with On Broken Wings in exchange for a ride to Boston. And this is where things get really convoluted. So stop me if we would need to recap on anything. So I was working in Nashville at the time, and I just gotten fired for the 3rd time from a production job. 3rd time's a charm. That one stuck. And so I was at this venue. Oh, man, no, we got to backtrack. There's some stuff I'm leaving out. Man, do you have any questions, sir?
No, not really. But I will say that during this time, I had left Order by Chaos and moved with my wife and son to Missouri. So we kind of dropped out of the scene altogether, and we were living in the middle of nowhere with my brother. And so
we're at Missouri.
Cameron.
Is it nice?
Exactly.
Yeah.
No. That's no.
How are the winters there?
Icy.
Bro, every time that I think a city is sweet, and I'm like, this city is so nice, like visit in February, March. Every time I'll be like, I want to move back to New York.
Have you ever been in an ice storm?
Have I? Yeah.
Yeah.
I was living in New York.
That's actually,
I was in like Bensonhurst, Brooklyn. Ice storm, digging out your car, which I didn't have a car, let's be serious, but Boston, same situation. So every time I'm like in one of these cities where I'm like, oh, this city's so nice, I miss it. I'm like, man, visit that thing in the winter, dude. And then, like reevaluate, because we live in Jacksonville, Florida.
Yes. We don't get ice storms.
No,
I remember waking up and seeing all the ice everywhere, like all the tree. It was beautiful, but I couldn't do anything, for like 2 weeks. Couldn't get to work. So, it's pretty for like a day or two. And you're like, wow, look at that.
Then you're over it.
And then you're like, I want to work.
And in the city,
do something, go to the store.
All that brilliant white snow turns into just like the
sludge.
Yeah, dude, like the sum of exhaust and dirt, and it's just gross. And you got to shovel it, and who the fuck wants to do that?
No.
Yeah, not into it.
Not me.
But so when you left OBC, what was their next order of business? Because I know that they continued forth. I know there was a guy, Vince, that played guitar for them. And what's funny is spit in the face of something. I forget what the name
of the day.
And I'm so sorry. But listen to me. Okay, so when I was in the joint, I may or may not have had access to a cell phone, right? and I may or may not have had access to an SD card, and I may or may not have had access to a contraband MP3 player. And so one of the first orders of business was to download as much OBC as I possibly could.
Right.
And I got Spit in the Face of the Day, and I remember listening to it, and I'm like, this shit is good as hell. And I'm trying to see what year it came out, but you know,
it was probably 6 months after I left. I have no idea what year, but
I'm like, this
badass song. Dude. Yeah,
this holds up.
I actually saw them in that configuration at Freebird.
I love seeing a band that you used to be in and being
it's so strange, but I was like, this is friggin' badass.
Hey, listen,
I was
man,
like,
when Bury Your Dead put out It's Nothing Personal, whatever that album's called, with when Mike Terry was still in the band, and I know Matt came back and Matt was the OG, and I respect that, but I did one album, I did the self-titled when Mike was in, and then I left because someone bashed my brains out in Wisconsin, and then they did another album after that, and like externally, because people are just like, man, it sounds so different now that you're not in the band. And externally, I'm like, yeah, fucking, I gotta co-sign that shit. But like internally, bro, I used to ride around and bump that record. I'm like, this is a good album.
Seriously.
And I can be a fan of it without riding around like listening to my own band.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I would just be able to like listen to it as a fan. I'm like,
it's
I'm a fan of this band. Dude. Now that I'm not in it, I'm a fan of this band.
Yeah. Seriously, it's like it's not definitely not the same when you're playing in the band and listening to it. You're like, yeah, it's pretty good. Pretty good.
I think it's rad to go see bands that you used to be in.
Yeah.
And then be able to like,
I love it.
Just to be objective to them and just be like, this is really cool. Like, it's not always the case. You know what I mean? But like in the case of OBC and in the case of Bury Your Dead, I was pleasantly surprised. Even though, yeah, it's super different sounding. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Like circling back to the first thing that we mentioned, like when a key element is removed, like it's gonna sound different.
It changes everything, but it's
but sometimes it works, bro. Like and in those cases, it's just like I'm not expecting to hear my riffs. I'm not in the band,
right?
So I'm just listening to it for the sake of listening to it, and like I'm a fan of what they're doing. I think this is cool.
Yeah, definitely.
I would ride around and bump that record like with impunity because I'm not in the band,
right?
But I remember getting Spit in the Face of the Day. That was the first like new song that I had heard from OBC and just being into it. I'm like, man, this stuff holds up. I honestly downloaded as much stuff as I possibly could grab, expecting to kind of have like a lay in my prison cell bunk and have like kind of cringe moments at like this band. And I was like, all this holds up, dude. Dead ass, all this stuff holds up.
You know,
I'm
it's
listening
funny
to it however many years later. I was like, this stuff is good, bro.
I found like 10 cassettes in a trunk that I have with like a bunch of old pictures and stuff, you know, from childhood and my kids and everything. And I found 10 cassette tapes with a card inside, and it said Ordered by Chaos in like Old English, and it said Todd Hunn. I didn't even know about booking back then. It just Todd Hunn and my number, baby. And I'm like, man.
Were you our agent, dude?
I didn't know that. Until Squiggy and Mikey, the professionals, came in, because I didn't know what I was doing.
Professional to this day.
But I've always been,
Mikey too.
Yeah, I've always been.
Shout out Albatross venue.
Yes.
Yeah, dude.
I've always been, a promoter somewhat, but never.
Dude, that was a mixtape days, dude.
Yeah.
Selling cassettes out of the trunk.
So I'm like, I don't even remember what's on there. So I found a
where did you find a cassette player, dude?
That's what I'm saying. So I was at the thrift store, and they had I was looking at this thing. I'm like, what the hell is that? Like a cassette player? And it's a converter. So you plug it into your computer, and I was like, oh, it was $10. I'm like, yes.
Yeah, I'll take
I'm gonna find out what's on that
for sure.
So I have it now, and I put it on my iTunes, but it's Spike's Doghouse, which is like the shithole in the wall in university from. The beer bottles flying at me, that kind of stuff, and it was
AKA the best recording.
Oh yeah.
Ever
but
made.
It's great.
Yeah. like single kick drum, single
I don't even
snare.
know who's in the band at that time, but
who cares,
I know,
dude?
yeah. I mean, it was it's all like, oh, man, it's a blast to the past, man. It was so much fun.
How good was it?
It's amazing. I'll give you one.
Please. Yeah. Okay, so
it's
day
hilarious.
one when I get on home confinement.
There's a lot of paw. What about fucking chaos in the hizzy?
God, dude.
It's so bad. Yeah, I love it though.
What was the saying? It was like, and what?
What?
Yeah.
Or, and what? Yeah.
Sure.
I don't know.
Sure.
There's many.
Yeah. Just so many tropes, dude. We had all the tropes. So day one, I get on home confinement. I come and clean out my garage, and I immediately find 3 OBC VHSs.
What?
Yeah, dude. Immediately. I'll show them to you before you leave. But I'm just like, I take a picture and send it to Rowe right away. He's just like, bro, I've been had those.
Really?
Just like, oh, I can't wait.
Because I don't have those.
I'll give them to you.
Yes, I
you know
need
what?
some.
Hey, deadass, I got a copy. So I got 3, and 1 is a double. So it's yours before we leave.
Do you have like a...
Whatever you're about to say, I assure you I don't have that.
VHS machine?
Say, I can promise you I don't
player?
have that. No, sir.
I bet I can find one at a thrift store, though. Seriously. Transfer that onto whatever, the computer.
Hey, man, but like OBC was really doing it, man. Like we had cassettes with cards in it with a contact information.
Oh, yeah.
We had VHSs. We were shooting music videos.
I know.
We looked sketchy. We were
Seriously.
cool, man. We did a lot, dude.
I mean, we were selling out Club 5,
which is a big statement, man. Like all jokes aside, to have a band of that capacity at that era was really special because how the scene was in Jacksonville. Like I was coming from a punk rock hardcore background, and you know, when you stand in a crowd and you 500 deep and you're all screaming about unity, you know what I mean? And that meant something to me. And so when you would go to shows, man, and you would just have this like mixed bag and it was very eclectic. And then like immediately transitioning into like a new metal verse and seeing like the characteristics of what the audience was, that really changed my trajectory in music. Because I was able to keep those like fundamental punk rock and hardcore values, and then also see like, man, there's like a whole commercial aspect of this where like, punk rock caps at where you sell out at.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then like, here I am, the very next band I'm in is like, all of those things. Like we're selling the fuck out.
Sell out.
Yeah, dude. And so, but I thought it was cool because it's just like this band has so much integrity and each individual member brings the whole city out. And I thought that was just the coolest thing. And I'm just like, man, this is like super punk rock. Like at the same time, this is hardcore. Like David Rowe is hardcore because when David Rowe performs, he's going to bring out 300 of his friends, and Todd's gonna bring out 300 of his friends, and I'm gonna bring out all these hardcore kids and random punk rock dudes. And I thought that was really cool that crossing over into this threshold and crossing over into this new genre like brings with it so much vertical leveling. And so it's just like once you walk this gauntlet of being like judged for the music that you create. Will's taking off. Shout out Tubby Hero for being here. Thank you, sir.
Later, man.
You all right? All right, buddy. Once you walk that gauntlet of being hyper analyzed for the type of music that you're creating based on the type of music you used to create, I don't know if that makes sense, but it's just like if I'm a hardcore kid and now I'm in a new metal band,
right? I'm
gonna have people that are just like,
what the hell?
What is this, bro?
Yeah, right.
But then I'm just like, just come to the show.
Yeah.
Like for real, like come experience this because like here you're going to be around a bunch of people who have zero agenda. Like they're just rocking out. Meanwhile, we're playing with Slayer. So like, what do you want? You don't like Slayer?
Yeah.
What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
So it was cool to see that like mutually exclusively, everyone was able to bring like their own brand and their own style and their own crowd into this.
Right.
And that was a really cool learning curve for me to see like Jay bring out 100 people, to see Todd bring out 100 people, to see me bring out 100 people, to see Rowe bring out 700 people, to see Mikey, Squiggy, Marshall, so on and so forth. And like to see Marshall bring out like his HVAC guys.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh, this is like, I get it. Like we have transcended the level of people just like being here for the sake of music. Like these people are actually like invested into what their friends are creating. And then that becomes scalable.
Them through my eyes, they're staring, they're gawking at me. I'm not alright. What's the way you look? What did you expect? Just because you're tattooed, that gives you no respect. They'll look at me, they please, all day, every day, and I can't do shit but say. Within the audience, and I thought that was very interesting because I was always viewing nu metal, if you want to call it that. From a very objective standpoint, as a hardcore
rapcore.
Yeah, we didn't really rap. No. I didn't.
He kind of started as that, but
yeah, it got away from that.
Yeah,
for sure.
Quickly.
And thank goodness.
Yeah,
because that didn't age well. But and now it's circling back though, because you know anything that was cool is going to be cool again, and that had its place. But OBC's place was really like taking what people were doing and just putting this like nice little razor's edge to it, man. And we have Rowe to thank for that. We have you to thank for that. You know what I mean? Like the fact that you weren't just doing double kick all the way through songs was really cool. Like the fact that you had grooves and the fact that you were like playing your drum. You paid for the whole kit. You played the whole kit. I thought that was cool.
Yep.
And so, you know, we had a sampler and we had a DJ and we had all this stuff. We had a great bass player and we had me and Jade fucking dicking around, whatever the hell we were doing.
Stabbing Marshall in the head.
Oh man, I have a picture of that. Did you?
We got the video of that. That's in.
Thing.
It's in one of the videos.
Thank God I got a wash for an endorsement because I broke that Charvel on his face.
Yeah, and it went right in.
Years later, here we are in Anaheim, Bury Your Dead, Chain Reaction, and lo and behold, that was our first video with OBC, and I broke my guitar on Marshall's face. Someone should have told Matt Brusso. Because our first DVD, I broke my headstock on his face. Yeah. So that was my bad. And yeah. Sorry about that.
You were the first guitarist that I'd ever played with that could swing his guitar around. Like,
listen, man.
That shit's badass. I don't care who.
I appreciate these. I appreciate you saying that. I don't know if I'm going to be doing that with these. I intentionally didn't get strap locks to prevent myself from going in the yard practicing doing spin kick guitar spins. But nah, man, that was the goal. Like, I think that there's a trade-off. Like, if you're going to play something that's relatively simple, then like dial up your stage performance. You know what I mean? And again, like, I think that was what was kind of set my career trajectory, is the fact that OBC was so straightforward that we could then give you like a very live experience. Like when you would come and see us, we just looked really cool. And then when I would see bands that were like in our genre kind of just like hanging out on stage, like languishing through their songs.
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh, they're really trying to play this stuff. Like, oh, they got to really focus.
Right,
like all of us were kind of like, not to say that fucking I know how to play guitar or whatever, but like we were all kind of like playing beneath our shit, like including the Squiggies and Mikeys and Rows of the world. We were all kind of playing like right below our capabilities. And so we were able to like really cut loose on stage because we did not give a fuck what we were playing, dude. We were just riffing.
More about that energy. I think you definitely.
And again, I think that's like harkens back to our punk rock days. You know what I'm saying? Like for all of us to just be like, let's create this type of music because we would just want to create a vibe. It just so happens that the contemporary style right now sounds like this. So let's do this and we're going to win. And to be honest with you, like that's just a good business strategy as a band. When I got into the production world, when I would work with bands who were like hyper technical, I would hit them with the Jay Rooney and just be like, hey man, listen, it's taking you 5 takes to nail that solo.
Right.
If this song becomes a single, you're going to be playing this every night for the rest of your life, dude. Like, maybe just chill it out a little bit.
Yeah.
And then this is me, and I'm such a hypocrite because I was in hyper technical groups where I'm like meticulously trying to nail these things. But in that case, like, man, if you're creating something to bring to market, make the thing that you bring to market something that's going to be like gratifying for you to take to the stage every night. That's all you got to do, man. Like, if you're doing some crazy thing,
that's my story right there.
Just give it, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, just chill, man. Like, just make it cool. Because what's going to make you win every time is like, why was grunge cool? Because you could ride around in your car and sing along to the songs on the radio, and you were pretty much 80% of the way there, even if you suck. Like, that's what makes it cool and relatable. That's why, like, with Bury Your Dead, even though we tuned in drop A, we would play on 6 strings, because at the time 7 strings were less common, and anybody could just go grab their dad's guitar and tune it to spaghetti and kind of play along with us. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
But like, so we never tried to exclude anybody. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, when you're creating music, create it in a way to where you're taking into consideration the people who are listening to it. Like, because that's how I was when I was listening to bands, whether it was Strung Out or Seven Dust, any of the Fat Records bands, which are my favorite, AFI, No Effects, Guttermouth, or any of like the more metal stuff like Il Nino and Seven Dust and so on and so forth. If there's not something that I could like latch onto, if I can't like sing along to you in the car poorly, or if I can't just like grab my guitar and kind of figure out what tuning you're in and play along to it, then like already you've ruled me out as a fan. And so I've always thought it was cool to create music to where it's just like you're able to really include your audience in a way where you're taking into consideration like how they come into music. If you come into music via OBC, if you come into music via Bury Your Dead because it's relatively simple, and the very next thing that you take interest in is something that's like technical that graduates your form and function, cool. We were the white belt.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to get our black belt if you keep doing the white belt stuff. Right. You know what I mean? But like, that got you in, and that's cool to me. Because that was for me like learning Ramones songs. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like learning Offspring songs. And be like, oh wow, I can really play. Learning Pennywise songs and be like, oh man, like I can really like play along to these. And then I got more and more interested in like the technical stuff. Cool, fair enough. But like, that was my gateway.
Yeah, and that's probably very few people actually go that direction, you know. I think a lot of people would rather sit in that, you know, what they like, the style they like, and, you know, like the simpler stuff or whatever, unless you're trying to advance as a musician, which, you know.
And the simpler stuff, like the longer that you stay there, the more galvanized your playing is going to be. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's like, I mean, look at country. You know what I mean? Like, no one's going to look at you crazy if you're like, this song is GCD. No one's going to be like, oh, what? That's been done. But it's like, nah, man, like that's going to get you in the game. And then
look at how many people love it, though, you know? And,
absolutely.
And they're just like, I'm good.
And fundamentally, like, if that becomes the thing that gets a guitar in your hand, mission accomplished.
Yeah.
Bro. Yeah.
Create music.
Create music, man. And then find something that you can identify with, because there's certainly stuff that I used to play along with that now I'm just like, I would probably not listen to that anymore.
Yeah.
But then there's stuff that's like so far advanced from me that I'm just like, I can really dig it as a fan objectively, but subjectively it's abandoned me. You know what I mean? Like, as a drummer, there's some stuff that I listen to that I'm just like, that is incredible. Mm-hmm. I'm not even gonna.
There's a lot of that.
Yeah, dude. From drummer to drummer, just know there's some stuff that I'm like, I'm not even touching that. I have a friend coming over.
Oh,
it's no, the door is unlocked.
The door's unlocked. Walk on in. We're podcasting in the den. All right, we ready?
Let's get
for
it.
the next stage.
I hope so.
All right. Well, so when I was in Missouri, I think I don't even think I heard about anything going on. I heard you were in Bury Your Dead, and I was like, oh, that's so freaking awesome, you know?
I appreciate that.
Yeah, man, I was stoked. And then it was weird because I don't remember. I think it might have been Mikey that said you were either going to prison or you were in prison, and you were like serving like 25 years. And I was like, what? You know, because that didn't like jive with.
We've known each other for a long time.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's like, yeah. I remember you, like when I left you and I left the band and went to Missouri and, you know, was playing in churches and doing.
It didn't jive with me.
Doing my well, I'm sure. And I was like, okay, so like you were very disciplined. You still are. So like really nothing's changed from where I knew you before and how I know you now. You're just, I think you're more disciplined, which is crazy because I remember coming over to the apartment and you would wake up. I think you had a bed. This is when you lived with Jay. You had a bed and a guitar and an amp. And I was like, all right, that kid's serious. And you were playing like classical shit, you know, like I was like, oh, I love him, man. He's freaking awesome. But
and that's when Jay would come in the room and be like, 1 fret, dude.
Yeah, right.
What did I tell you about the 1 fret? I'll give you 2 frets. So that's top. Don't play them skinny strings anymore.
Right? I'm taking them off. All right. So, but basically very disciplined, you know, straight edge, good kid, you know, and I hear this and I'm like, what happened? You know, I had no idea. I'm out there in friggin' boondocks and I'm hearing this and I'm like, I just didn't understand it, you know? So, and no, I don't think anybody really knew like the whole story. Anyone that, you know, knew you or, you know what I'm saying, is like, so nobody could really give me what happened. And granted, we lost touch when you were in the band, you know, when you were touring and everything, and I had gone my own way. So hearing this, I don't even know how long after it was, probably a couple of years.
So the injury on tour happened in early 2007. The last big run we did was Family Values. And then we were on tour with Hell Yeah and Machine Head. And Hell Yeah was 2 of the guys from Mudvayne, and Vinnie Paul was playing drums for them. And I was in somewhere, I don't know what it's called, Milwaukee, I don't know, Eagles Ballroom, wherever that is. And so long story short, I come out from backstage. Someone's trying to get my attention. It turns into a robbery. They end up hitting me in the face and then the head with a hammer. And it was curtains after that. And so I flew home. And so I ran into some weird politics, man. Like I was in interviews, I was just like, listen, I'm fine. I'm going to be back on tour. I'm from Duval. I get jumped all the time. I'll probably get jumped again. I'll talk shit. Who cares? Whatever. Someone hit me with a hammer. At least they didn't shoot me. Whatever. I don't care. And so there was like nothing was coming out. So I'm like, where's our press releases at? What's going on with this? And so at the time, our label was like, you know, you're putting too much of a positive spin on these circumstances. We got an album coming out. And I was like, fucking excuse me? That was crazy for me to hear. And I'm not trying to put nobody on blast, but that's just crazy to hear. Like downplay the fact that like, I'm cool. I'm fine. I'm healthy. Don't anyone worry about yourself. I got a little skull fracture, but who hasn't had the skull fracture? Whatever, who cares? And so, and they were like, no, we need you to dial it up. Like we got an album coming out. And so that was it for me. I'm like, I'm not doing this anymore. Right. Like it just left a bad taste in my mouth, especially at that. Cause we were like the height of our career. We were doing really excellent headliners. We were doing awesome support tours. Like I said, in the capacity of the bands I just mentioned. And so, at the time I was healing up. So all that discipline and all that stuff that you speak on, man, kind of dovetailed into what became the extent of my involvement with organized crime. And so, to be clear, I was sentenced to 240 months in the feds behind a RICO Act, racketeering, influence, corrupt organizations. And what I was doing monetarily in my time off tour is what got me indicted. And so, and that was that. I don't know how much I can legally speak on that, but I went to trial, and we'll skip past that part. I went to trial, and I got sentenced and on 20 years with, when it was all said and done, with FSA, which is the First Step Act, SCA, which is the Second Chance Act, and good time credit and everything else, man. I ended up doing 14 years and some change on that. And then I just shy of 6 months in a halfway house after that. And now we're here with this fucking thing, sitting with Todd. Yeah,
progress.
Hanging out. Progress. And so that was that, man. They gave it to me and I did it.
The end.
Yeah.
Thank you. Good night.
All right. Nice meeting you. But I think in a lot of ways, man, the music industry kind of led me to my prison experience, if we're being honest, because there's a lot of duplicitousness that takes place within that, right? And there's a lot of insidiousness, and there's a lot of people who are like perfectly willing to look the other way on a lot of things, as long as that bottom line is getting met. And so, one of my charges was money laundering, and yeah, fair enough. But no, when they hit us with the RICO Act, I'm just like, I'm not involved in organized crime. What the hell are you talking about? So I went to trial because I actually believed in the system enough to say, if I go to trial, there's going to be some sort of clarification that takes place. And there just wasn't. And what ended up happening is when you go to trial, the government's able to hit you with 100% of the evidence of the case. And so I ended up with 18 Vicar Acts, which is violence and aid of racketeering. And so every dollar that I laundered connected me to where the money either was sourced from or where it ended up at. And so I got 20 years for that. For my first offense, I had never been to jail in my life. Was not a felon. I had never been in trouble. Right. No speeding ticket, no nothing. My rap sheet at the time was a public affray that I had gotten at the age of 19 that I got a no pros on. That was my entire rap sheet. And the feds gave me 20 years for my first offense. And so once they apply the RICO, I mean, that's it. There's no way, what are you supposed to do? Now I'm supposed to argue to this romanticized case of, we got this guy who's involved with organized crime. And I'm just one person saying, no, I'm not. And I have the entirety of the prosecutorial team, 5 prosecutors in my case. And on your case, it says United States of America versus Eric Ellis. Like, how am I supposed to defend myself? But I went to trial because the pleas were all based on basically them saying, confirm what we already know about these people, which is snitching. And I'm just simply not going to do that. So even though I knew for sure, I was indicted November 18, 2010. The feds came and talked to me December 10th. And said, you'll be home by Christmas. All you have to do is confirm what we already know about these people. And they showed me a little pyramid. And they said, you're here. We don't care about from you down. All you have to do is confirm what we already know about these people from here up. We're going to give you a yes and no questionnaire. And I'm just like, I don't know what you're talking about. And that was that. So I would rather take 20 years and be a man than do whatever the fuck the alternative is. I never even considered it, to be honest with you. And you can call that what you want to call that, but here I am, and I can look in the mirror, and there's a lot of people in my case who can't. Yeah.
Yep.
So there's that. And I got new plans, so fucking who cares? Not to like kill the vibe or
so
anything.
Moving along.
Anyway.
It had to be done.
Yeah.
So, you want to talk about any of the things you did in prison, as far as like, I know, because you were like
what kind of things in prison?
I don't know. I mean, like
make burritos and press them with an iron.
Weren't you doing like
to make
schooling music and stuff? I mean,
okay, so prison's stupid as fuck. Let's be clear on that. Prison's not cool. Let's not glorify prison. I'm supposed to say that if you've been in prison, but anyway, federal prison is a lot of things, but there's no reason to make something more complex than it has to be. Let's be clear on that. So if you're facing time, God forbid, right? If you're going in and you got a lot of time to do, then you need to spend time evaluating who you are as a person. Because if you're trying to find your identity inside the system, you're going to have a really hard time. There's a lot of stuff that's going to happen. It's very like spherical. You know what I mean? Like if it happens once, it's going to happen again. And the longer that you're there, the more objective that you are, because you seem the same type of like characteristics cycle in and out. And so I say all that to preface the fact that I'm just not going for that. You know what I mean? Like I know what my position is. I know who I am as a person. I knew that from day one. But at the same time, it's like I'm not trying to go into the system and bring these qualities of who I was, because that shit is corny as hell. Because everyone in prison is a multimillionaire. Everyone's got a Phantom in their garage. Everyone's got platinum plaques on the walls. And that's just something that you run into if you're in my world. The same way that if you're the next table over and you're a dope boy, if you had 10 keys, you're going to run into a guy who had 30. You know what I mean? Everyone's got something to say. They got some story to tell. Sometimes it's even true. You know what I mean? But in my case, man, it was about music. I know what I can bring to the table. And so when you go into the feds, there are music rooms, there are band rooms, and sometimes they're cool because you just happen to have some staff who are maybe like a little involved with it. Sometimes it's bullshit and it's in disrepair. And I've been to, counting the halfway house, I've been to 11 spots. And so that being said, I've seen a lot of different aspects of it. And there's a big cross section of it to where the common denominator is the type of inmates who have control of it. So at my second to last spot, I'm not going to start with the first two because they were hyper violent, and we're not even going to talk about that. Even though I was in a place that was extremely political, and I was in a reggae band with, whatever. But that was funny because I got about, man, you can't do that. I'm like, I don't care, dude. Reggae is sweet. I was also in a reggaeton band with a bunch of Puerto Rican dudes. I was playing drums,
Yeah. One drop.
Song is so sick. Yeah. I was just having time while you do a fill and they're like, what are you doing?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. But anyway, the first two places I was at were very much prison. This is stuff you hear about on TV. Like turn on TV, believe everything you see. That's what it is. Just run with that. Whatever. But my last two spots, I was involved in music therapy. Shout out Sarah Pitts, who ran the music therapy department. And so I worked in the mental health unit. And I'm not going to say the place because I think maybe that might be a clash of interest. But I worked in the mental health unit. And there's a music therapy program. There was the person that was running it was not on custody level. And so they were very involved in like the rehabilitation of people. So here's my dumbass. I show up. I'm just like playing guitar, right? And so she puts me in a position where I'm teaching guys that are in the mental health unit, music theory and everything else. I would be back there, and so the first little bit that I'm doing it, I'm working with these guys and I'm teaching music theory and teaching guitar or whatever. And I remember telling her, I was just like, these guys are not getting this. Like, I don't even know what I'm doing back here. And she was one of the first people to be like, it's not about you trying to teach them G major chords. You know what I mean? How many times in these people's lives do you think they've had a man tell them that they're on the right track or wrong track? Because I got to be honest with you, they would come back there and I'd be like, man, when's the last time you took a shower?
Right.
What are you doing? Brush your teeth. You know what I mean? So with all due respect, but it's just like, you live in isolation, man, like even at the best of times. And so some of these guys back there just got a really bad rap, and they're just pinned down. And so like, I got it, you know what I mean? And like, when you scale that up to like the bigger picture, it's like, that's really what it's all about forever. You know what I mean? Because the people that were teaching me music are the people that were like showing me guitar, the Jays of the world, you know what I mean? The Tosins of the world, who were just like, would sit down and really take the time to show me something. Like, it wasn't about guitar, man. This is like life lessons that become an analogy for life, a metaphor for life, whatever. And so I was like, cool, I get that. So I left that place eventually, man, after having like a good tenure there. They put in a new law, maybe, I don't know, that was you got to be 500 miles from home, your whatever your release designation is. So that moved me from where I was at to Florida. And when I got there, man, I'm seeing like some of the performances that are happening, because they do have shows on the yard. That's not to say that they're apples and apples. Let's be clear, but they do what they can with what they got. And so I'm seeing the little performances, man. I'm looking at their little Mackie non-commercial board, and I'm seeing that your faders are dimed, and I'm seeing that your gain staging is wrong, and I'm just making observations. But who am I? I'm just a guy at a prison show, right? And so I just so happen to be walking onto the yard, and there is a CO there. I can't name him, but he is the man. Shout out Chrome Makers. But he is the man. And he was involved in some stuff. He kind of knew some stuff I was involved with, band-wise, music-wise. And so I'm walking onto the yard, and he's just like, hey, you're... And I'm like, yeah. And he's just like, yeah, all right, we'll talk. So he just asked if I was still involved in production. One thing led to another, man. I ended up like working in the band room, which, listen, I know it's easy to be sarcastic about your achievements in prison. Like, this might not sound cool, but it's cool to the people that were there. Anybody who plays music, imagine you go to fucking prison, whatever that means to you. And then when you're there, there's like a quasi-professional person who actually runs the program. Like, now what does that mean to you? So again, I invite you to be as sarcastic as humanly possible about like running a band program in prison, because whatever. But as a musician, going somewhere and seeing some place that was outfitted to where you say, like, there are capabilities here. Like, we could do something with this. And then to actually execute that, and then to have COs that are Full Sail graduates. That's a real thing. That's a real person. And to have that person like absolutely believe in you and basically give you the keys because they trust in your capabilities. And that means something, man. And so now every time that bus comes in and there's a guy like me, a guy like you, man, you got a spot. What's funny is the buses used to come in and they walk right past our window. And so I get on the drums and just do a blast beat just to see who would turn their head. And it maybe be like 1 out of every 15. I'm like, oh, that guy, yeah, him. Yeah, he's going to be coming.
Right.
Yeah, dude. So we had a very eclectic mix, man. Like, now over time, you know what I mean? It takes a long time to turn around a big ship. You know what I'm saying? So it started with just working in the band room, and then we just took that thing apart. And I could totally do about running our nag and pag equations on the room and our T60 rates and all that stuff. If you want to go ahead and leave, I understand. But
4 hours later.
But we did that, man, and we installed new gobos, and we just did all the stuff, and we just, you know, we got a couple of things, and it sounded nice, and it was cool. Period. And so we're running a good program, and then what came of that was us running a live sound reinforcement course and teaching people, like, not just like you know, music class, which I had done in the past, like, and there's something gratifying to that. That's cool, you know, when you see someone like learn where things go on a guitar neck, like, awesome, man, that's really cool. But when you're actually teaching like the science and mathematics behind production, and you see people like get involved in that, and then build a team with that, and now your shows in fucking prison, bro, go from like whatever the fuck that is to like
what is
something
happening?
You know what I mean? Like, people like then feeling comfortable being like, because guys would come out of the woodwork at that point, because you would have people that were just like getting up there and just kind of winging it, because it has an open mic karaoke type of vibe. Like, who fucking cares, right? And then when the production would scale up, you had people that were just like, well, I was in a band,
all right, move.
Yeah, now I'm comfortable like coming in here and doing something. And so it's not just me, you know what I mean? I'm just some dickhead, but you had like a bunch of guys, man, like with a cool mix. And so it was rad just to experience somebody who's just like, man, I was in a proficient metalcore band based out of Puerto Rico.
Right.
And now that I see that you guys are operating at this level, like I'm cool. And so there was like scales to it. Once we were at like we went from like prison to like shitty bar level, like the shitty bar dudes came out. And then once we got to like nice venue level, like the nice venue guys came out, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
And so we just had a cool mix, man. We had a guy that was very involved. He was a Navy guy. He was very involved in like the jam circuit in New York and Japan because of where he was stationed, and a credible horn player. We had a guy who was a music major that graduated from Georgia and like conducted all of their like what do you call them? The conductor? Those people, very important. No disrespect to you people who wave the wand.
Composer?
Yeah, that's the one. So sick. But like what comes with that is somebody who can like diligently sight read and can just like scope the room and see who's where.
Yeah.
And so working with people like that was crazy. Sick. But people are only going to come out like that once they see that the production can facilitate what it is that they offer.
Right.
And so once it became something like that, I'm like, we just have to keep this moving, man. Like we have to progressively realize new levels. Like we can never stop. You know what I'm saying? So like cool that we have guys coming up here doing like Eagles songs and knocking them out of the park. Like that's rad. But now we have like metalcore bands who are like have guitars that they can tune. Now, mind you, there's no electric instruments. So we're taking acoustic instruments and doing like drop-in pickups. And so now we're like setting them up in the tunings that guys want. We're like, listen, drop C's as low as we can go. This is fucking acoustic guitars. What do you want from us? But building that team up, man, like even just having guys like an equipment checkout room who can like know how to set your stuff up for you, having engineers who have different cuts, you know, everything we use is analog, have different cuts for every single band, for every different application, and then running performances and shows, in addition to having hip hop summits that are like full bells and whistles, you know what I mean? And being able to do something and work with guys and then having staff then sit back and analyze like, oh, we see the productions up to this level and like doing their things, which we'll classify that as a talent show because we're going to use antiquated colloquialisms because they're COs and that's how they talk and that's fine. But for us, it's just like, man, go showcase your abilities, because if you can get up there and do something and you can bring the yard out, like that's important.
Yeah.
Because at every other time, it's all about like the complexities of our intra-behavioral combat situations. And so if I can go on stage and play this acoustic song and I'm watching every gang, every race, every car, like sit back and hear what I'm saying and then come to me after the show and be like, yo, that was a powerful song. I'm like, cool. But like, I'm just one person. There's 2,000 people here.
Right.
So like you get up here and do your powerful song. And that's really what it was all about. Not even before the FSA got passed, which was cool because a lot of guys that took the program ended up getting a year off of their sentence because they were graduating the program, which was a ACE program that then became an FSA program. So to have like 30 guys graduate and then basically take 30 years away from the feds because each one of those guys got a year off of their sentence because they graduated an FSA course. Like that's just scoring for the good guys. Mm. In addition to the fact that they're doing it by going on stage and playing songs that they wrote. And so that was it, man, really. I did that until the day that I left. I left on a Thursday morning. Wednesday night, we had our last graduating class, and we were like 30 deep in the band room playing Gucci and Waka Flocka on the system. Turn up as loud as humanly possible because I was leaving the next day. I don't give a fuck. I'm trying to blow the sub out.
Right.
You know what I'm talking about? So that was that. Yeah, dude.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, it was cool.
So tell me what it was like when you knew you were being released and, you know, kind of walk us through that feeling? Because that had, and you were how many years early?
Okay, so I did.
14, is that how you?
Yeah, I did 14 years and 2 months, and I think it's 8 days, something shit like that. But who's counting? And so my original out date was 4/20/28, and right now it is. This watch doesn't have a date on it. No, 8/1. It does. 8/1, whatever, fuck, 25, something like that. And so, and that's after going to trial, never cooperating, taking the whole brunt. But with FSA, that knocks a year off. SCA gave me 18 months halfway house. And then within each thing that you earn, you have its own parameters. And as you can see, I'm on an ankle monitor currently, which is why we're not in Todd's studio. We're at my studio. But I ended up doing 5 months in the halfway house because, you know, a job and whatever, having a place to stay and everything. A new legislation got passed about how you classify bed space for the halfway house, and that impacted my case personally. But when you get out, let me tell you this. In the feds, they can give you a date. It's ballpark.
Oh.
So you never know, right?
Yeah.
So they can tell you, like, this is when you get out. That's your halfway house date, which can change at any time. So my original date, like I said, was 4/20/28. So I'm just in prison, bro, hanging out. And then they come with this FSA, boom, that's a year. SCA, boom, that's 18 months. Good time credit, boom, that's another however long. So I start shaving all this time off my sentence. And now here I am doing the math. And I'm like, should be any day now, right? So, and then I get called into the office, you know, submit your release designation. It's getting to be about that time. So you do, but see, here's the thing. The more halfway house that you get, the more nebulous your release date becomes. So if you have 18 months halfway house, just know that 18 months could become 17 months, or it could become 3 months. And that's how much longer by deficit you sit in prison. And it's gut-wrenching.
Yeah.
Because there's zero clarification on when you actually leave. But to be clear, like, that's not anybody's fault. That's just how they rock, bro. That's just what it is. And so in the feds, it's even when you transfer, like I said, man, the halfway house is my 11th spot. Even when you transfer, it's just like you're transferring within 2 weeks. And then 7 weeks later, you get transferred. Or 3 days later, you get transferred. Like, they always just try to, like, keep you on your toes for whatever goofy ass reason. Even with the moves, like, that's on the grand scale. Like, when you get out is nebulous. When you transfer is nebulous. They call the moves 10 minutes before the hour. Nebulous. Sometimes it's 5 minutes before the hour. Sometimes it's 20 minutes after the hour. So everything they do is to, like, keep you on your toes. It's all guesswork. The powers that be create more enmity than the inmates ever would because of that shit. Because you're in just this constant state of turmoil because you never have clear, definitive answers on anything that you ever do. So now that little rant is out of the way, to answer your question, I had an original date, which would have been November of 2024. And so I have, you know, my mom being like, oh, you're going to be home for Thanksgiving. You're going to be home for Christmas, New Year's, and so on and so forth. They circle right back around and say, actually, February of 25. Now, in their head, it's just like, well, it's 2 months. Who cares?
Yeah.
You just wiped out like a whole year's worth of holidays. So they don't care. And it's not because they're horrible people or any of that shit. It's just, they just don't care because to them, it's just this nebulous window of where you end up next, which is always going to be a part of the system. So 14 years, then halfway house, then home confinement, then probation, then you're a convicted felon for the rest of your life. So all because, you know, I mean, yeah, did I commit crimes? Sure, whatever. But like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, but to give someone like a clear delineation of where it ends, it's just not part of the agenda.
Right.
You know what I mean? To say like, hey, you did this, and so this is what you got coming. Not the case. It's like an abusive stepdad You know what I mean? Like, he's not just gonna hit you that once.
Right.
Not to bring up old shit. But, so that's what it becomes. So that's what, like, that's the part of the process that I'm in now. So that gives us this unique opportunity to speak on this. And I don't speak on any of this with bitterness. I'm just saying that it's because this is the facts. This is how it is. So anybody who's like looking at time or has a friend that's doing time, listen, man, when your bro calls you and asks you to put some money on his Cash App or put some money on his books, just do it, man. Because this shit is like heartbreaking. And trust and believe that like people aren't telling you the whole story, because if they did, you probably A, wouldn't believe it, and B, like, it's hard to even digest it, because like unless you've been there or been through like similar circumstances, then it's kind of impossible to like completely wrap your head around how like insidious it can actually be, because it's never going to be a binary choice. It's never a yes or no. It's never black and white. It's always, you're going to be here for a while.
Right.
You're leaving around this time. And so now that I'm on the other side of that, like what I'm working on, me personally, is like unpacking all of that stuff, like not feeling so having this frenetic energy all the time, like I have to like be here and do this, because that's just part of your life, man, for like decades.
Yeah.
And so for me, you know, a decade and a half solid of having no agency, no autonomy, you know what I mean? So every decision that I've made has been influenced by whatever person showed up to work to do the little 8-hour shift that day, for better or worse.
So what are your plans? You have big plans. I know it.
Man, I don't know about all that.
You're probably honestly one of the most positive people I know. You just have an amazing energy.
I appreciate you saying that, dude.
I love it, dude. I love it. You've inspired me, man. Just being around you is like, yeah, I want to build something.
What do you want to build, dude?
I don't know.
More lamps?
Legos or something? No.
More lamps?
Yeah, lamps. Definitely.
I need a lamp.
I'm a lamp builder.
Because I'm not into this.
I'll build you a lamp.
Light. That light is very... it's triggering.
Yeah.
That light is triggering.
It's kind of bright.
It's very
all mine are like sepia tone.
Shit, dude. Chill.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I even like the ones that change colors and stuff.
I have one literally right there.
I'll hook you up. I'm gonna hook you up.
Oh,
yes, definitely, dude. Definitely. I gotta figure it out.
Don't even tell me what it is.
No,
just
and
bring
I'll
it
do
over.
a video too. Yes.
Sick, dude. Oh, that's exciting.
All right, down. Put the mind's going to work.
Yes.
All right. Mission.
As far as what I'm working on, I wrote a lot of songs while I was in the gym.
Heard.
Yeah, man.
I heard the one.
Yeah.
Is that your most recent one?
That's the most recent.
That is a badass song.
I appreciate you saying that.
What's it called? Can you say that?
Ghost Between the Wires. Yeah. And so I spent so much time. Okay, so I was a little spoiled because before I was indicted, I had a house that was purely dedicated to having a studio in it. Shout out Rob Walden, because if anyone can talk about what happened in that house, it would be him. So whoever's following this, at Rob Walden, go torture him and ask him every question about what happened in that house, because it was fear and loathing in Jacksonville Beach. So, sweet. Shout out Silva Linkside for the HOA not kicking me out. I'm only calling cops on me about 10 or 12 times. I was spoiled, man, and I say that to say, like, as a musician, I was at a point to where like I was able to just like absolutely immerse myself into the recording process, like record every single thing that I was working on, like jot down, notepad all my ideas. Then I was working with an excellent team as far as musicians are concerned. Aaron Patrick, Bubble, who was in Bury Dead, then All That Remains, tour manager extraordinaire. He's worked with Bring Me the Horizon, Hatebreed. He's out right now within this moment. Mike Terry, that was in Bury Your Dead. Before that, he was in Cassius. Then he was in Volumes, and now he's doing Fire from the Gods. Obviously, Matt Brusso and Mark Castillo. Mark Castillo has been with Bury Dead, Amure, Crossfade as of recent. Slim B, who was just like the backbone of Bury Your Dead. And just a slew of others. Rob Walden, like what I mentioned. Please go torture him. please go torture Rob Walden and ask him all the questions about what happened at the house. He'll tell you. He'll give you the tea. I'm not going to, but he will. Excellent engineers like David Cook, who just did the most recent Evergreen Terrace. Mike Nofill, all these guys, man. Shout out to all these guys. Jason Caruso, who were part of being at the house. Jaden, who was part of this band Noetic. We just had a great team, man. And so everything that we did, we were able to jot down and then basically throw everything at it. And so then I get indicted. And so I go from having like custom 9 strings and all kinds of other bullshit, you know what I mean? The full battle rattle studio to like having some acoustic with 4 strings on it that's tuned to whatever the hell with like the worst action. And so it was cool, man. So at some point, like I just sit back and I'm like, this is what it is. Like I have to completely change my capacity for this thing. And so I became like so much more of a guitar player by not being able to do the things that I was doing before, like not having immediate capture, like not being able to like switch tunings in the middle of a song, tones non-existent, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
So all these things,
all
man,
that stuff Jay taught you. There it is.
All this stuff Tosin taught me,
right.
You know what I mean? Like sitting down with him, like one-on-one and just like absorbing that. Like, I don't got no 7-string, dude. You know what I mean? Like, right. Come on now. So, throwing that all out the window, man, and just like sitting down on the guitar and just starting from scratch and like having the constitution to say like, I'm willing to start from scratch. And so that was really what it was for me, man. And so, I started writing a lot in a different way, but I was able to maintain like what I ultimately wanted to end up doing, which is to say, like, I knew I was going to circle back to my genre, like my zone of, I don't want to call it expertise, but my zone, man. I knew I was going to circle back to that. Right. And so, I just started writing in a different way, man. Like my whole approach changed. And so, my project now, to be fair, at any point I could have sat down and wrote a bunch of God-forsaken country songs about how sad prison is. But I was not sad while I was in prison because fuck prison. Prison is what you make it. The concept of prison ruins prison. I wasn't fucking sad for one moment. I was just there.
Right.
And so instead of me being like some woe is me type of songs, and I've been through the full fucking retinue. Don't get me wrong. I want to kill myself a lot. I ain't going to dwell on no dark fucking times, bro. I'm not there no more. You know what I'm saying? But like, that was what it was. So I have a lot of songs from a bunch of different eras. Like there was parts of prison where like, sure, bro, I want to string up and kill myself because I'm like, I got 20 years to do it. I'm 3 years in. I fucking hate this. I want to die. Cool. Fair enough. But then there's also points where it's just like, this other car just rose up in opposition to us and we absolutely crushed them off the yard. And so now I'm feeling kind of cocky, right? So there's songs about that too. And like, that's just part of your prison reality. Like that's not cool, but it's part of your prison reality. Just like any other song. I listen to some songs right now with lyrics that I'm just like, what the hell is this guy even talking about? But like,
seriously.
Yeah, but it's written from a place that was important to them. And so there's some sort of relatability.
Maybe.
There. Or not.
Yeah.
There's also songs I sing along to I don't even know the lyrics to.
Yeah.
To be clear, some of my favorite bands.
Right.
One of my favorite albums ever is AFI Black Sails in the Sunset, and I sing along to the whole thing. And I'm not sure I know what one lyric is.
Yeah.
But anyway,
it's good stuff.
So I wrote a lot of stuff, man, that just has like very penetrating meanings for me because I would really try to capture an era. And so I became like very much like a lyrically motivated writer because what I was doing on guitar was very limited. And so I would try to create like a landscape that would facilitate the most impactful lyrics for the era that I was in, knowing that I was going to transition out of that era eventually. And so when I go back through my songbook, I'm like, wow, I was in a dark place. And then sometimes I'm like, wow, what the hell was I thinking? Like, those are awful. But at the same time, it's like, it really outlines the entirety of my journey. So for me, it's been about like
a journal.
Yeah, man.
Like your song journal.
And
cool.
it's interesting that you say journal, because in a shakedown, I actually had actual journals, and in a shakedown, I lost my journals. They took them from me, and so I started to write things that were really steeped in allegory. That way, if they would thumb through them, they wouldn't be like, you know what I mean, have something to point to with times and dates on it and shit, I guess. But so yeah, man. So really, for me, genre wise, I was like, what's the best thing that I can put this stuff against? And so I'm creating music now that's really like the songs that I would want to hear. You know what I mean? And not in a way of like being exclusionary, but in the way of just being like, there's every one of us have that thing that we go back and listen to years later. And so like, what has that been for me? That's what I want to create. And so that's what it's been, man. So I have a project now with some great guys. And that's what it has become. And so that's just going to be a catch-all for a lot of the prison stuff that I've written, which, to be fair, at no point I'm like, I'm in prison, fuck. That's not how the song goes. But, you know what I mean? I touch on some things, man. So, you know, when it does land, like, you know, feel free to read between the lines, man. I'm really giving you the game in these songs. And sometimes it goes to a dark place. And then sometimes, man, I'm just talking about, you know, how it feels to have to call your mom and lie to her face because you just watched someone get butchered, and you're just like, hey mom, I love you. I just want you to know I'm gonna call you when I can. Okay, everything's fine. Knowing that you're not coming off lockdown for a week or two. You know what I'm saying? So like stuff like that. And then speaking on that, man, like how that actually makes you feel, but like but that's it, man. I'm just trying to create the type of music that somebody can listen to, man, and just know that like, I got you. You know what I mean? We've all been there.
Right.
And so, because one of the most peaceful things for me is whenever I first landed and I'm like, fuck, man, I'm fresh in with 20 years. And then running into people that are just like, bro, I've already done your bid. You're cool. And you're like, fuck. And then as the years go by, you become that. And then you run into somebody who's coming in fresh in, and they're like, I don't know how I'm going to do this. And you're like, bro, I've done your bid 3 times. You'll be all right.
Yeah.
And that's it, man. And then I may or may not be doing a project with David Rowe.
Yes.
You heard it here first.
Yeah. I heard whisperings about that.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Alan King, shout out Southpaw. He figured it out immediately. But
I can't wait for that.
There's that one. And then there's Obstructed. Shout out John, who is also a part of my other project. I can't say the name yet because we're in the legal process right now of securing that, but it'll be out soon. And so we're doing something that's nasty. It's really good. And then I'm in discussions right now with Mike Terry and Aaron Patrick about putting out the Bury Your Dead album that never was.
Oh.
Yeah. So you heard it here first.
Heck yeah.
So we'll see what happens with it. I think
like and subscribe.
Hey. So
yeah.
I think it'll be cool, man. I think that there's been enough of people who have said what they ever had to say about the trajectory of the group once I was out of it, that I just think it would be cool. Like, we don't know nobody nothing, and nobody owes us nothing.
Right.
But at the same time, like, it did change. And so it would be cool, man, to put out like what, you know what I mean? If it didn't change, let's explore that. Yeah. That's all. All due respect to the guys who've been doing it. At this point, the guy who came in after me has been in the band like twice, 3 times as long as I was. Did a good job, even though you stole my fucking rack, which is fine. Probably my ESP Eclipse, which is cool.
Anything else?
Probably, I don't know. But no, man, like, those guys have done an awesome job, and I know that they're doing their last hurrah after this. It's not little. I didn't mean to demean it.
Right.
But so whenever they're done, we'll capture the flag and put out the thing.
Yeah.
That the people want to hear.
Right.
Yeah, dude.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't take very many naps.
No, I took a lot of naps, man. In that little
I wish I could have the energy. You got like 4-year-old energy.
I'm the worst.
No, that's a great thing.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, I wish I had more energy because I'm like, I want to do this. You know?
But man, really, like,
I'm old and fat, so I mean,
but what motivates that isn't like you, but like you're saying, like it's the hustler type of situation. It's not even about like, man, I was gone for so long, and I've come out to this whole new world where like all these things are like accessible. So like, why wouldn't you access it? You know what I mean? Like you see people like absolutely taking off just by being clever, and if you're some dude that's just like, oh, I've been there and done that, and I'm entitled to these things, like, man, fuck you for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just like, be willing to take this thing that you've built that's so fucking important to you and smash it against the ground and see what remains. Because that shit, you're going to see that shit is real fragile at the end of the day. And you take what remains and then you build on top of that. And that was what happened to me in 2010, bro, when I went in. This thing that I thought was so important. You know, your reputation is a house of cards.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I didn't go to prison for no fuck shit. I got no skeletons in my closet, man. So come at me. So, but what I had career-wise was so fragile. All these things I had built, this portfolio, all these people that I had toured with, all these people I know, touring with Jada Pinkett, you know what I mean? Like working with Overbrook, all these things, like it got smashed into the ground. I'm like, wow, that was extremely fragile. Like what remains? Like a core group of friends, a core group of family, and like my own moral compass. And that was it. And that's what you got to build on, man. So I invite you to take these little things that you think that are so fucking important to you, your little skill set, wherever you're at in your career, and be willing to smash that shit against the wall. Because if you don't do it for yourself, someone's going to do it for you. And it's going to happen to you. And once you're able to do that, man, then you're going to fucking see what kind of man you are, because you're going to be able to pick up the pieces and be willing to leave that little bullshit behind. That's it. And why is it that broken people remain broken, and why is it that people who are just like carefree and cool like keep winning in life, man? Like learn something from the people who just put themselves into good situations around good people, and who have like the capability just to sit back and let good things come to them. Like there's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to control the room
and have the patience to wait for it, you know?
Yeah, man. Have patience, have constitution. Don't try to like make shit your way. Back to like that whole analogy is like you can add shit to it and be quick, but all that shit is fragile, man. Like all that stuff that you add. Meanwhile, like when you take the time to like do that shit drip by drip, and it just galvanizes over time, and it becomes so like indestructibly strong.
Right.
And then you can build on that. That becomes your foundation. Man, the motherfucker that's trying to decorate the penthouse don't give a fuck about the dude who dug the hole and laid the rebar.
Right.
But if not for that guy, you ain't talking about shit. You little paint, what kind of paint you're gonna hang, and what kind of wood grain you're picking for. Fuck you.
Right.
You know what I mean? The guy who lays the foundation.
Yes.
That's what it is. And so right now it's like, surround yourself with the type of people who can see the entire scope of what it is that you're building. Because eventually that Karen that's hanging the paintings on the wall in the penthouse is going to be important. But acknowledge what it takes, man. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Music career, prison, getting up every day and going to work, whatever. It's digging a hole. You know what I mean? Grab a shovel, get to work. The guy who does more is going to get further, period. And then like make yourself at home with doing that degree of work, man. And like, you're going to win. Like diligence and consistency is going to pay off. Hard work beats talent. Period. Just show up and fucking do the work, bro. That's
just
it.
Don't get in the lawn service.
Except for when it comes to the lawn service. Then hard work does not beat talent.
Don't do it.
Maybe it does. Shout out Josh, because you got a lawn service and y'all know you work hard. You're on this talent.
Yeah, me too.
He's also in the band with Rowe and I. There, I said it.
Yes.
And he shreds.
A lawn guy.
Yeah. Tune to drop A. Like an adult.
We're always on time, healthy. We don't pass out in shows.
No.
All right, y'all.
It's been fun.
See you next time for part 2.
When this thing comes off.
Yes.
All
Hey, y'all. Hope you liked this video. We had a blast making it. It was great to catch up with Eric. If you want to see the lamp I'm making for him, I'm going to surprise him with it. Well, it's no longer a surprise, but if you want to see the build, I'm going to post it after this. So subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell to see any videos I got coming up. Peace out.